Good morning. How are you? Happy Sunday. Happy November. It's been a while since I've gone and done a Facebook Live in English, and so I wanted to just take a moment and reconnect with you again. I think that the last one I did a Facebook Live in English was when I was in Vietnam over the summer. So now we are back home in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I wanted to do a Facebook Live to connect with all of my English-speaking friends. If you haven't set your clocks back already, then you should do that. Here in the US, we are on daylight savings times. Usually I will do my Facebook Live around 10 o'clock in the morning on Sundays. Talk a lot about issues pertaining to life, law, and a little bit about the techniques about how to achieve your goals. So if there's anybody that's following the program here today and you think that anybody can benefit from how to set a life goal, how to live your life by design instead of by accident, please invite them into the Facebook Live today so that we can connect and share. I think that over the past few years, I've been able to learn a lot from other mentors. And so I wanted to just share what I've learned through the years with any friends out there that may be needing a little bit of guidance and direction. So let me see. First off, can you guys hear me okay? Sometimes the audio on here is not very clear, but if you can, let me know, or if you can't, let me know as well. Just wanted to start off by introducing a little about myself. My name's Jennifer Ha. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I currently am a practicing immigration attorney, and over the past year, it's been my privilege to be able to help a lot of people in my office, either consulting them on immigration matters or through divorce matters. And in consulting with these clients, I've been privileged to listen to all of their stories and the hardships that they have survived through the years. And in many cases, I've noticed a lot of patterns in my clients' lives, a lot of things that people do consistently, repeatedly, that often lead them to the troubles that they have in their lives. So my goal in presenting some of the information here today is to help some of you kind of break the cycle, to get out of the things that you're doing to self-sabotage and create some of that turmoil in your life. Now, I've been practicing for 10 years, and over the last 10 years, I've been representing people in hundreds of cases. And so it allows me to have a little bit of experience in this personal development arena. But I really wanted to start by telling you my own story, because I think that although I have looked at clients' cases from the outside, my own life experience has also helped me overcome a lot of hardships and also to get to where I am today. Certainly not where I want to be, but I think that I'm moving closer and closer to that target goal. So I grew up as the child of immigrant parents. My parents came here to the United States after the Vietnam War. They were part of the boat people. And coming here as a first generation immigrant was very difficult for them. Neither one of them had any English skills. They both worked in manufacturing jobs, and I think that their primary objective was just to survive. And I think that because of that survival skill, they were both very conservative, didn't really want us to take any risks in terms of business or any type of entrepreneurial venture. Their primary goal was to help us get through school and get a good paying job just to survive and get by, because that was the mode that they were in. And I think that that's the mode that a lot of immigrant parents come here with, because they don't want to take any type of risk that could affect the stability of the life that they have built here. And so what you see in a lot of second generation children like myself is oftentimes a very conservative lifestyle as well. And it takes a lot to break free from these restrictive norms in the environment that we are raised in. But through the years, I've learned that in order for me to live a better life, in order for me to progress, I needed to break away from that mentality, and I needed to set my own path so that I could achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. Growing up, we lived in a very small 2-bedroom apartment all the way up until the time I had gone to college. I had shared a room with my little brother. I mean, it was a very difficult thing to be a teenager and to have to share a room with your little brother. So I share that because I think that a lot of people seeing me now will always think that everything is so easy. I must have had this great background. But I share that so that you, especially younger women or younger men out there who are struggling, who are just barely starting to enter life, so that you can realize that anything is possible, that you can overcome any hardship that comes along in your life, and that you can achieve remarkable things despite where you come from. And so that was the environment that I had grew up in. So we lived in this small 2-bedroom apartment, and there were plenty of people in my life that were there to make me feel inadequate, to make me feel small, to definitely ingrain in me that they were somehow better than me because they lived in a home. I mean, that was the environment that I had grown up in. So, growing up, it wasn't an easy thing for me to really think that I could break free from that, because I carried a lot of self-esteem issues, carried a lot of feelings of inadequacies, particularly when I went into any type of environment where there are people that I felt came from a wealthy background. I mean, we never went without, but I think that you really feel the impact when you see the things that other people have that you didn't have. And so that was the environment that I had come up in. And I grew up in a very with very humble beginnings in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I just remember growing up that there's this neighborhood in Salt Lake. It's called Capitol Hill, and it was where teenagers would go to hang out. It was basically the most exclusive neighborhood in the valley. People who have a lot of money usually build their homes there and develop things that are in a way that gives them that lifestyle and that opportunity. And so as a teenager, I always went up to that neighborhood and I always wondered to myself, who are the people that are living here? How did they get to this arena, and how do they achieve the things that they are going to achieve going there? And for me, I felt as though I wasn't sure as to how I was going to do that, but I always wanted to make sure that I would get there. So a lot of my friends would wonder why it is that I always purchase homes on a hill, because it was very much in line with my life vision, and it was very much aligned with what I wanted to do. So I want to talk to you about how you can create your life vision and how you can achieve what you want to do. Today I have 10 steps that I want to talk to you about, and I hope that you, if you have a pen and paper, that you write these steps down, because it's helped me in my life achieve what I wanted to do. The first thing is to create a clear vision of your life. I think that I equate that a lot with wanting to showing up at the airport and not knowing where you want to go. You can show up at the ticket counter and the agent at the stand will ask you where you want to go. And if you don't know where you want to go, you won't have a final destination. So for me, I always had this clear vision of what I wanted to do. There's my little boy there. Give me just 1 second. Hayden?
Yeah?
Can you go?
I'm trying to get it down.
Can you go, please? So sometimes life will interrupt you and get you distracted, but that's okay. We deal with that. So let's talk about this life vision, and let's talk about how we can achieve what we want to achieve. Like I said, you could be showing up at the counter and not knowing where you want to go, and the ticket person will say, they will try to sell you a ticket, and then they will um, ask you where you want to go. And if you don't know, then you can't ever board the plane. So I think that I see a lot of people in my office that often do not have any type of destination of the life that they want, the home they want to live in, the career they want to achieve. And so it starts by you clearly defining the things that you want in your life so that you can get what you want. The second thing is to give yourself a deadline. When you do not have a deadline, then it's very easy to procrastinate. I think that naturally human beings procrastinate because it's too scary to think about starting over. And so you just go on with this routine, and you go with doing the things that are not necessarily aligned with your life goals, because you are putting it off. Sometimes maybe you're thinking about a career change, a life change such as a divorce, but the idea is so scary that you do not allow yourself to make that change, so you keep putting it off. Maybe it's something that requires more schooling. Maybe it's something that requires you to temporarily reduce your income, and maybe it's something that you don't think other people will approve of, and that's why you put it off. So I would say that in order for you to stop living your life by accident, that you need to give yourself a deadline. You need to set a certain time frame in order for you to push yourself to actually take action to achieve what you want to achieve. The third thing is to find a mentor. I've been very grateful and lucky in my life to have people that have been wonderful mentors so that they could give me some guidance on what I wanted to achieve. I remember about 7 years ago, I'd met a woman. She's this incredible business leader. She earns, she's a $10 million earner, but very kind, very humble, and she's become my mentor. And one of the things that she told me in achieving success is to personally develop yourself so that you can accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. At the time when I had met her, and I asked her, what are the secrets in order to achieve your level of success? And she said, you've just got to become a better person in order to attract success. At that time, I thought it was kind of flowery. I was like, what? Anyway, show me how to make the money. Show me how to make the millions. What is this personal development stuff? But over the years, I've learned that truly every single word that she says is true, and that the personal development that comes along with achieving your goals is what's most important. And you will find that there are so many people who are willing to teach you everything that they have learned in order for you to achieve that high level of achievement as well. But it comes down to you reaching out and finding that mentor. They say that in order for you to be successful, just find another successful person and then copy what they're doing, and then you will achieve success as well. So for me, I've been able to reach out to a lot of people and ask them, how did you make your money? How did you get to where you got? And people sometimes are an open book, and they'll share what they did in order to get to that level. And you sometimes need that guidance from outsiders if you don't have that in your family. For example, I didn't have a mentor in my family. I'm the first person who has gone to college. And so for me, I had to look outside to find a mentor to help me live my life by design instead of by accident, okay? And the fourth thing that I would recommend doing is to create a clear plan. Sometimes people have a very clear goal of what they want to achieve, but they don't have any clue as to how to get there. So if you're driving to a destination and you don't have any navigation device, it's going to be easy to get lost. And I find that with a lot of my clients, a lot of my business associates, is that they're not very clear as to how to get what they want. I'll give you an example for myself. I had mentioned that I ran a law practice, and for many years I didn't have a clear vision of how I wanted to structure my practice. I knew that I wanted to grow. I knew that I wanted to take my business global, but I had no idea how to do that. I operated with this wish that it would someday grow global, that it would someday give me some leveraged income, someday give me mobility, but without having a clear action plan on how to achieve that, I went for many years without being able to achieve that goal. And it was a couple of years ago where I took a clear assessment of my practice, and I looked at the things that were making me the most money. I looked at the practice areas that were able to grow globally, and then I eliminated everything else that was not on that vision board of how I wanted my practice in my life to be. And that's how I set up the game plan for redesigning my practice and also redesigning my life, essentially. And what I did is I eliminated anything that I didn't enjoy from the practice. I eliminated anything that would restrict me to one geographic area. I eliminated all clients that I did not enjoy working with. I eliminated every single client that I didn't generate income from. And so then what I did was have a carved down practice that essentially ended up making me more money. It was shocking that I was able to create this plan. So if you're at a point in your life where you want a specific financial goal, a career goal, a family goal, then my recommendation to you is to definitely set out the things that you needed to do in order to achieve that goal. You have to write it all down in very clear and concise manner. For example, if you're building a side business, you have to dedicate X number of hours per day to that business, whether it be 1 hour per day for 7 days a week. That's 7 hours towards your goal. Or you need to eliminate things that are not adding to your goal, maybe eliminating TV, eliminating organizations that you're a part of that are not contributing to that goal. You have to clearly define that plan, because life will get busy and it will overtake you on your way to achieving that goal. So make sure that you write out the plan very clearly. And this is particularly important if you are having financial goals as well. Things like trying to eliminate debt. You have to know how much debt you have. You have to know what's the greatest amount of debt, the littlest amount of debt, and how to get rid of each portion of that debt, okay? The next thing is to break up the plan into mini goals. Now, this is a tip and technique that I hope that a lot of you use as well, because a lot of times when we have this massive life change, when we have this massive goal, it seems so overwhelming, and a lot of people give up for that particular reason. So I would like to encourage you to break up this massive goal into mini goals. For example, if you're trying to eliminate debt, your mini goal could be to eliminate the smallest debt within a certain amount of time. That will give you the motivation that you need to tackle on the bigger portions of the debt, because you see that you're making progress. But if you're not very clear on that, if you don't break it up into mini goals, then it seems like it's so far away. I recently ran a marathon, half marathon, 13.5 miles, and I just remember at each mile marker, they had mile markers that say, you know, you're at mile 1, you're at mile 2, mile 3, and it helps you to be able to know that you're checking off little milestones along the way towards your bigger goal. Otherwise, if you're just running endlessly without any type of mile marker, you will give up very easily, because there's no end in sight. And I want to share with you a story. It's a very famous story about a professional swimmer. And one of the things that she did was she wanted to swim across the English Channel. There was a competition where swimmers from around the world would show up and swim across the English Channel. And this woman was a very accomplished swimmer. She swam the English Channel many, many times, back and forth. And it was pretty easy to her, very easy task for her. But on the competition day, the unfortunate thing that happened was that the English Channel, there was a lot of fog that fell on to the channel at that time. And so the swimmers couldn't see where they were swimming. So they started the competition. Everyone started off gung-ho. But as you could watch the people swimming across the English Channel, a lot of them made it very far. But the common phenomenon is that they started to panic. And then they started to, pull on the trigger to notify that they were giving up, because they thought that they wouldn't make it across the channel, even though if you look distance-wise, they were very close towards finishing. And when she got out of the water, when they rescued this woman out of the water, she was so close to finishing. In fact, she was one of the first swimmers to almost make it. They asked her, why did she give up? She had swam the channel multiple times and did it just fine. And she said that she couldn't see the other side. The fog had covered up the other side, and she couldn't see the finish line. And so that's why I say that in creating and designing your life, you need to set up mini milestones that will help you stay on track. Because if you're running towards this super far goal, it's very hard for you to see the finish line and give up, okay? The next thing is to not play the blame game. I think that, and I see this especially a lot in my divorce practice, is that sometimes people will come to me for a divorce consultation, and I would say 99.9% of the time they are blaming the other person for all of the things that have gone wrong in the marriage, and then they're also blaming the other person for all of the things that are gone wrong in their life. Now, the moment that you stop playing the blame game, that's the moment that you're going to be able to achieve more in your life, because that's when you take back control. That's when you take back your power. That's when you are able to say, no one is responsible for my success or happiness except for me. So I want you to keep that ingrained in your psychology as you work towards designing your life. Because life will always go wrong, right? Like you just saw about 5 minutes ago, my little boy came in for some yogurt. I wasn't planning on having him come in, and my gut instinct was panic. Oh no, I should maybe just stop this Facebook Live. But things will happen along the way. Things will go wrong, and it's how you deal with it and take responsibility for it that will set you on top of living a life by design instead of by accident. So I want you to never think that it's your spouse's fault that you may not have finished your education, or your children's fault that you didn't get as far as you wanted in your career, or your parents for not encouraging you. Whatever thing that you want to blame your unhappiness on, whatever thing you want to blame your lack of success on, eliminate that now and start to take back your power and your control, okay? The other thing is to say no to anything that is not aligned with your vision. A lot of times that people don't achieve their life plan because they get distracted. They get distracted by the fun thing that comes at that given time, or the friends, or the opportunities that come that take you off of your train track of where you want to go. And I know that it's really hard to say no. I mean, I'm just as bad, and I'm working on it every single day, because there's a lot of guilt that comes with saying no. And we've got to learn how to say no without feeling guilty. Because whatever person you're saying no to, they'll be just fine. They will be just fine. They'll move on and find a replacement and an alternative. You need to not feel responsible for the other person's success or failure. It's up to them. And so over the past few years, I've learned a lot to say no. I constantly get invited to sit on different boards, I get lots of questions for donations. I have tons of people who constantly send me Facebook messages, and it's always prefaced, I have a quick question, but obviously the quick question always turns into like a 1-hour legal consultation for free. And I've just learned to say no, because I value my time and I value the things that I'm directing my energy towards. And before, I used to feel really guilty when I said no to people. But now I've learned to say no without any type of explanation. And I simply tell them, no, this isn't aligned with what I do this year. Thank you for the invitation. But at this time, I simply just don't have the room in my calendar to do it. And usually they're okay. Obviously, sometimes they kind of push a little bit, but as long as you stay firm in your decision to say no, then you'll see that it frees up a lot of your time to say yes to the things that you want to do. I find that sometimes when people are following their dreams, following their vision, the biggest deterrent is when I ask them why are you not pursuing what you're supposed to be pursuing? Why are you not achieving your goal? And the number one answer is, I'm too busy. I'm very busy. And then when I really look and see what they're doing, that they're so busy, it's really a lot of fluff, a lot of junk. So the more you tend to say no and remove the fluff and junk, the more time you will have to pursue the things that are really important. Because at the end of the day, it's only the important things that will get you to your life goal. Okay, next thing is to eliminate people that are not aligned with your life goal, with your life design, and your vision of where you want to be. Now this one is really, really hard, right? I call these people the dream killers, and the people that will hold you back from achieving what you want to achieve. And this one is, I think, one of the things that is most difficult for people to deal with, because sometimes the dream killer is the person that's very close to you, such as a parent, a sibling, a best friend, somebody that you highly respect. And there shouldn't be any type of animosity towards the person that you are trying to temporarily eliminate from your life vision. But unless you kind of insulate yourself from the negativity, then then you'll have a very, very difficult time achieving your goal, because in order for you to get to where you want to go, you need to be surrounded by positive people that are supportive of your goals and objectives. And so if you've got a dream killer that's constantly bursting your bubble, that's telling you you can't do it, that's telling you that your dream is ridiculous, then the likelihood of you quitting and giving up is very high. And then also, sometimes when I say eliminate, obviously you can't eliminate somebody like a parent or a sibling from your life, because those are people that you will love regardless of whether or not they support your goal. But it's really perhaps minimizing the level of exposure they have to what you're doing. Because if you're trying to share your vision and your goal with somebody who is very negative and is constantly putting you down for that dream, then it's not helping you. Then there's no point in sharing it. I have a girlfriend who is working towards this big goal for her and her husband, and her mother is this constant objector who doesn't believe in her, doesn't believe in her husband, doesn't believe in what they're trying to accomplish. And every single opportunity that her mother has to talk to her, she will discourage them. She will belittle them about this goal. Yet she repeatedly goes to her mother to consult regarding this business that she's trying to do. And then she wonders why she can't break free from the psychological stress of her mother. And so if you find yourself in that same position, you need to eliminate that negative energy from your life by talking to that person about other things besides what you're trying to achieve, because their negativity is not going to help you. The other people that you want to eliminate from your life are the people that are jealous of your goals. We have somebody in our group of friends that is constantly jealous anytime anybody achieves anything, and you can see it. You can see it seeping through them. Anytime somebody gets a new job, a new house, a new car, never a congratulations, never a good job, but you can kind of feel that negative energy whenever somebody has an accomplishment. So for me, I've just decided that I don't need that person in my life, and I've completely eliminated that person in my life because they don't add or contribute anything of value to me. And so my time is so precious that I've decided to remove that energy from my life. And I hope that if you have certain friends that are that way, that you learn to remove that energy from your life too. If you have a friend that is constantly making you feel inadequate, that is constantly in competition with you, that always acts like they are better than you, then it's time to find a new friend. It's time to find new people that are more supportive of your goals and your dreams and your aspirations, and to remove people that are not contributing to that. Because I guarantee the day that you do achieve your goal, those are not the people that are going to be clapping for you. You need to be very careful and pay attention to who does not clap when you win. And I've learned to be very careful and to be very analytical to watch who doesn't clap when I win, because those are the people that you don't need in your life, especially the people that I would call them haters. You don't need that in your life. If they're not somebody close to you, like a mother, father, parent, a sibling, there's no need to have them in your life if they're not helping you get towards your goal. Okay? There's a saying that I heard today that I loved, and I want to share with you guys, and it says, "The dog will bark, but the caravan must go on." Okay? If you decide that you're going to get to where you want to go, you cannot stop by the side of the road to argue with the barking dog. You can't stop by every single barking dog to throw a stone at it, because you'll never get to your destination. The best way to handle those type of people is to phase them out, you know? And I've been able to phase out a lot of people in my life that were not contributing anything to my life other than draining my resources. So the more people you eliminate that are not helping you achieve your goal, the more room you make in your life to receive people that are better for you, that are operating at a higher level, that are able to educate and mentor you so that you can get where you want to go. They often say that you are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. So take a look at your circle. All right, are your 5 friends that you're hanging out with the most, are they doing what you hope to be doing? Are they living the life that you hope to be living? Are they earning the amount of income that you want to be earning? If not, maybe it's time to find a new circle if those 5 people are not supportive of you reaching a higher level. Okay? And then number 9, stop worrying about what people will think. I think the biggest hindrance in people achieving their goals is worrying way too much about what people will think. I have a business where when you start out, it's very difficult for a lot of people coming from professional backgrounds. It's hard for them to kind of put down their pride and learn something new and expose themselves and be vulnerable, because they're so scared of what people will think when they start this new business, this new venture. And that, I say, is one of the most important things in learning to overcome when you are trying to design your life, is not worrying so much about what people will think. Because really, if you think about it, their opinion is not going to feed your child. Their opinion is not going to pay your mortgage. Their opinion is not going to give you the lifestyle that you want to live. And so the more that you worry about what they're thinking about, the more that you are concerned about how they will react to your new dream, your new business venture, your new educational goals, the less likely you'll be able to achieve what you want to achieve in this life. I think that every single person who has achieved mega success has encountered some type of opposition, some type of being put down by their friends or their family, other people that didn't want them to succeed. I always like to, I study people who are like lots of entrepreneurs, and I think that, for example, Bill Gates, who is one of the world's most successful men, he was always thought of as somebody who was kind of weird by his friends because he didn't talk to a lot of people. He was always reading a lot of books, and so growing up, he had a very difficult time being the popular kid, and but he didn't worry too much about that, and him kind of walking to the beat of his own drum helps him get to where he was today. So if there's some big decision that you're hoping to make, I hope that you make that decision in a way that adds to your happiness, not in a way that you think is going to make other people happy. Because the biggest mistake that I see in people coming to my office, especially people who are divorcing, is that they live to make their in-laws happy, their spouse happy, or their friends happy, and they're so terrified of making big life decisions because of what people will think. I hope that you break free from those chains, okay? And then the final thing is that you've got to give yourself time to make progress. A lot of people never achieve their life goal because they don't give themselves enough time to make progress. For example, entrepreneurs. Why are there so many people that fail in business? I mean, statistically, what do they say? 50% of people who start a new business, regardless of what that business is, will fail. And then about 5 years later, about 80% will have dropped out. Why is that? It's because they don't give themselves enough time in order to make progress. They think that they're going to be mega millionaires overnight, and they try things, they test things out. They don't really go in 100%. And if that's a mentality that you're using in order to achieve something, then I can tell you today that you're not going to achieve it, okay? You've got to give yourself time to develop, to mature, to age like a fine wine in order for you to achieve your goal. The more time that you allow yourselves to get better and to progress, the more likely you will be able to succeed. There's a magic formula. It's called the 10,000 hours, right? In order for anybody to become an expert, to be excellent at anything that they do, you have to give yourself at least 10,000 hours, all right? Now, how long is 10,000 hours? 10,000 hours in a normal 40-hour work week is about 5 years. That's right, 5 years. And it breaks my heart when I see people who are working maybe 1 hour a day towards their dream and then giving up after maybe 3 months or 6 months, and then they're wondering why they're not improving. They're wondering why they're not achieving what they need to achieve. They're wondering why they're not making the type of money they should be making when they're dedicating so little time and energy towards that goal. So if that's what you're coming up with, if you're reaching these boulders along the way, I'd recommend that you give yourself more time towards whatever goal that you're trying to achieve, so that you can develop a tougher skin when the hardships come, okay? Because I guarantee every single person who achieved greatness has suffered a lot of failures along the way. I mean, Colonel Sanders, you know, the Kentucky Fried Chicken King. I think that he had introduced his recipe to 1,000 people before one person said yes. So if you're not at that number yet, then you're not giving yourself enough time. Okay, so I hope you found the information useful. I'll try to share more information on the books that I've read, the experiences that I've had, to help any young people out there that are on their way to achieving their life goals, that are trying to live a life by design instead of by accident. And I hope to see you guys next time. Thanks so much for following. I will see you soon. Bye.